Okay, so you've just got broken up with and your brain has been spiraling, wondering, why didn't they choose you? Why didn't they want to be with you? Things were so great in the beginning. How come you couldn't get back there? What did you do wrong? And worst of all, part of you still wants them to change their mind. You're still hoping that things are going to shift and you're going to get them back. If you're stuck in this loop, you're not alone. Today we're talking about rejection and why that question of, why didn't they choose me, haunts any one of us. And how to stop believing the lie that the breakup, them not wanting to be with you, somehow defines your worth. We're going to talk about why breakups hit our self-esteem so hard, especially in limerence situations, how your attachment style can play into this not good enough narrative, and how to reframe rejection so it becomes a launch point instead of a sinking hole. And look, I get it, breakups, rejection, that can trigger deep insecurity, especially if you have limerence towards the other person, where you have this strong attraction to them, where you want to be around them all the time, or if you had real deep hope that this relationship was going to blossom into a big commitment. And if your ex moves on quickly, you might obsess over what this new partner has that you didn't. Why did they choose them, not you? And even worse, you might replay promises that they made, plans you had, compliments they gave you. You can find yourself going over and over this, wondering why their words, their promises, their plans didn't become reality, and why they could never be consistent. And if you keep going over and over this in your head, wondering what you were lacking, wondering what you could have done to make this relationship work, wondering if you could still do something to win them back, this isn't just sadness. This isn't just a breakup. It's a self-worth crisis. You might not be seeing this situation for what it actually is. Now, attachment styles can make a big difference. If you have an anxious attachment style where you want to bring a relationship into your life, you might interpret a breakup as abandonment, as a personal failure because you couldn't make this relationship work, even if the other person wasn't trying as hard as you. An anxious attachment style person, they can interpret a breakup as meaning that they weren't lovable enough. They weren't good enough. They can become hyper-focused on what they could have done better and chase after someone that's not right for them, trying to make something happen, taking on all the responsibility for a breakup, while the other party could have been just as much at fault. But if you're attached to a dismissive avoidant person who's not working on their issues, if they reject their partner, it's not about that person, it's about the dismissive avoidant attachment style and their own issues with intimacy. Intimacy scares them. Showing up on a regular basis scares them. They start to feel trapped. So if they have anyone pursuing them, they feel uncomfortable. They need to deal with their attachment style and show up when things start to get serious. Show up when they're starting to feel uncomfortable. People with avoidant attachment styles, they often send mixed signals and show that they're emotionally unavailable. But all these mixed messages can cause someone who's going through a breakup to be in an emotional purgatory. This lack of clarity leaves room for rumination, going over and over things, wondering what went wrong, looking for clarity. You could become obsessed with the other person and this breakup. However, if you pull back and look at it, it's not that you weren't good enough. It's that the other person had their own fears of being hurt, of getting very close to someone, of experiencing true intimacy and openness. They had their own stuff going on. And if after the breakup they choose someone else, they start dating somebody else, that doesn't mean there was something wrong with you. You don't really have a window into what's going on there. You're not in that relationship, so you don't want to judge it, and you don't want to use that relationship as a way of judging yourself and putting yourself rung down, because you don't know what's happening over there. And if your relationship had issues and they haven't done any work, their new relationship might have the same issues. You don't want to be looking at your ex who's in a new relationship and experiencing fear of missing out. Like if you were with them, now everything would be perfect. I have had clients who look at their exes after a period of months and want to be back there, but they're almost idealizing what happened in their relationship to begin with. All those problems, if the other person hasn't done any work, still exist and would be there if you got back together. You want to examine that. You want to be really realistic with yourself now. You don't want to be in a space where you want them more now because they seem unavailable. You want to remember them for who they were, flaws and all. And don't fall into this belief. It could have worked if I just tried harder. That belief keeps you stuck in shame and a sort of false hope. Oh, if I just got back together with them and I worked a little bit harder, things would be perfect. Making a relationship work is not on just one person. Both sides have to put in effort. And it's so easy to fall into that trap. What could I have done better? How could I have been different? How could I have shown up in a different shape so things would be better? And you wind up contorting yourself and judging every move you make, everything you say, in order to make something work that just might not work. A healthy relationship doesn't require these acrobatics and contortions. They just require mutual commitment, respect, and a willingness to work together. Okay, so here's what to tell yourself instead. Not being a match is not the same as not being good enough. The breakup does not define your value. This was something you were working on together, trying to make this relationship work, and it just didn't. And yeah, maybe you want to take a step back and look at how you deal with conflict, or how you handle money, or look at why you weren't a match. And if you find there were things that you want to work on, go to therapy, go to a group, find a relationship coach, and work on those issues for you, not with the hope of getting back together, because it's probable that the relationship is over, but you can still make changes for yourself. And if you're going to talk about the relationship, focus on what it was. See the flaws on both sides. In any breakup, both partners hold some of the blame. And then look at these patterns and how they relate to your attachment style. Do you chase people that pull away? Do you confuse anxiety with chemistry? Then try and reconnect with who you are, not who you might be trying to be when you're trying to win somebody over. Really see you for who you are. And then stop waiting for closure. You don't need their validation to move on. If they gave you breadcrumbs or they showed up intermittently, their silence is enough closure. Start choosing yourself. That's how healing really begins. In the next video, we'll talk about why looking at our ex's social media can feel like a punch in the gut, and how to stop checking it without feeling like you're missing or losing something. Subscribe if you're ready to stop relapsing and reclaim your peace.